is. Got it. You're on.
All right, we are live. What's up, everybody? It's welcome. It's Friday. Happy Good Friday. Happy Friday, period. It is. Let me put this sucker on mute.
I gotta go kill my dog.
Yep, gotta go kill your dog, huh? Yep. Kill the puppy. So what's up? What's up? What's up? We are here. I think Dave just stepped away to go deal with his dog. Um, Tom, what's happening? Norm, what's happening? Howdy, howdy, howdy. All right, all right, all right. We are here. Happy Good Friday to you all. Happy Easter, happy weekend, happy Friday night light, all of it, you know. We are back. Dan is not here tonight, as you can see, because I'm doing the Zoom call for tonight's show. He is actually doing still the house hunting, house selling bit, so he is not gonna be able to join us tonight, but it's all good because you got the three musketeers here. You got, me, you got Scott, you got Super Dave whenever he gets back after he strangles his dog. um but don't worry, no, you will see no animals being harmed or hurt, during the production of this broadcast. So don't worry about that. um, but yeah, we are all good. And
Anybody want a dog?
anybody want a dog?
Fuck.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. I wish I would have been able to get more, to be honest with you. I wanted to wrap up, to get back over to Celestron and QHY, but didn't get a chance to. But it was all good. We'll do more next year, of course. Looking forward to it. Right now, I'll be honest with you guys, I am totally out of it. Um, I had a over the last weekend, I had a back injury again. My back went out again, and I've been on pain meds and muscle relaxers and everything else under the sun. I ended up in the ER on Saturday. I have now officially decided to give the lawn mowing duties to my son. He should have been doing them a while back anyway, but
That's what they're for.
that's what
That's
they're
what I was
for.
used for.
Yep, that's it.
I had
But
to do mine and both my grandmothers.
there you go. And I bought a this nice new house. I had a nice acre of lawn, so I bought a riding mower, and I wanted to get out there and play with my new toy, and my new toy jacked me up. All that you're mowing, and then it just messed up my back. As soon as I got off I was going to hose it, hose the tires down, and the sciatica nerve just shot and hit, and I went down to one knee, and it was just game over. So, and I've been dealing with it all week. And they've got me on all fun. They gave me a morphine shot. They gave me Tylenol 3 with codeine. They've given me muscle relaxers. I've been on all kinds of different kinds of stuff. It's just been a mess.
That sucks, dude.
It does suck. It does suck. So hopefully this Monday, I will be going to an orthopedic clinic, spine and joint clinic here in Georgia. I had all my medical records from Illinois sent down, so hopefully they'll be able to square it away. And
You need to come out. You need to come over here towards me and see Dr. Stephen Hughes.
So Dr. Stephen Hughes.
Yeah, he is the end all beat all of back and spinal surgeries.
Well, I've already had, the herniated disc, the fluid drain and all that stuff to relieve the pressure. So
Yep.
we're just going to see what happens this time. Maybe they'll just give me another like a what is it? Like a cortisone or a steroid shot or epidural,
Yeah,
something
but you
like
got to
that.
be careful with that stuff because you can't take too many of those.
No, you can't. No, you can't. And I was really hoping after the surgery I would have been all good.
So, what did
But
they do in your surgery? Was it just a disc replacement or like a disc trim or?
yeah, like more like a trim. Yeah, it was more like a
So,
trim.
so this happened to my sister. So she had that, and they cut out the herniated part of her disc and
Yep.
everything, and said, "Oh, you'll be fine." And then the other part ruptured.
Oh God.
So, and the doctor basically took her back and said, "Look, this is going to be pro bono. We'll just." And they had to fuse. They had to just.
Oh yeah, that's the one thing I don't want. I'd rather have them
Well,
just do a replacement if they can.
but
If they can.
trust me, if it's just your two vertebrae they're fusing,
Yeah.
you'd rather have that
Really?
because you're never have an issue ever again. Now
Yeah.
you might lose some flexibility, but it's still not going to be. I mean, I it's just
Better.
so
You think it's yeah. I when I hear fusion, it gets me a little nervous, but
it's not that big a deal.
yeah. Oh, where did Scott run off
I
to?
don't know. He's having issues with his Zoom blipping in and
Oh,
out.
okay,
So,
okay.
um,
Yeah.
but
Hey,
yeah.
Tarek.
So Sherry, she has first of all she's tall, so she has an extra lumbar, but
Hmm.
she had what they call pars defect. So you have your vertebrae, they ride up, and then you have this bone that kind of keeps them all in line.
Yeah.
She had what they call a pars defect, where that piece of bone was missing between two of her vertebrae. So
Oh.
her spine was doing this
Ooh.
because it couldn't stay aligned, and
Hmm.
so she went and saw this guy Stephen Hughes, and he's like, "Okay, here's what we're going to do." And he basically built a cage to
Hmm.
put everything back together. Now, granted, she didn't have any disc issues,
Hmm.
but they put everything, lined it up permanently,
Gotcha.
and she's been friggin' great ever since. She's never had an issue.
Nice. What's up, Matt?
She was having issues with pain and shooting down her leg and everything like
Yeah.
that. And it was
Yeah.
just like it got bad.
Yeah.
So,
So
but she
yeah,
had that done
I'm back on using this.
10 years ago, and
So
she hasn't had any issues since.
yeah. So I'm hoping this upcoming week, we'll figure this out. We'll get me some relief and it'll be all good again. So yeah. We'll probably cure everything that ails you. That's for sure. Um, yeah. Yeah. Yep. Astronomers prefer fusion. That's for sure. Um,
Be rad.
yeah. But yeah, so I saw you posted your latest video there, Scott, from Astro Playground. And that was on which was that on? Was it on focusing or what was the subject matter? Because I didn't get a
Yeah,
chance to see it.
yeah, I've got a couple of different videos up on the channel.
Okay.
Uh the, the latest, let's see. The latest is I did a live stream with just a looping for as a test. So you guys may have seen that, but I did a cooled camera offset. The
Yes.
offsets explained, and
Yep.
also uh, I did the mastering the autofocus as well as filter orientation.
Okay.
So that seems to be kind of a hot topic with people. Some people think it doesn't matter. Other people think it does matter.
Okay.
Um, Filter orientation, how you set your filters up in your drawers and in um, your rotators
Okay.
uh, as to what direction they go. So,
Gotcha. Okay.
but I was always taught that the reflective side goes towards the telescope. and the ghosted side goes towards the sensor. So
Correct. That should be right.
yeah, other people seem to think that it doesn't matter.
Oh, it definitely matters.
Yep, that's why I put the video up. So
Well, that's good. That's good. So hopefully you guys can all check it out. Check out Astro Playground and, get, another nugget of knowledge here from Scott, on filters and camera offsets and everything and focusing, and help you guys out. If you have a little bit of confusion on this stuff, we have resources here for you. And don't forget also to check out our Discord channel, Astroworld Telescope and Astroworld TV's Discord channel. We're always on there. So absolutely. Check these resources out. So no, nice work there, man. And let's see. You said that right now, Dave, you were having some issues.
Oh,
Yeah. And because you were working on M51, and what was the other one you were working on?
M106.
M106. Okay.
Yeah, and I need to get HA for both. So Wednesday night, I set up and was like, oh, okay, it's going to be nice. It's going to be clear. Let me set up and I'll do, I was set to do a full night of HA on pretty much both of them, multiple hours. The 106, I was going to try and do 10-minute subs using the 127 on the EQ6R. And the M51, I was going to do 5-minute subs with the Carbon Star and the Warp Astron. And, everything was going to start, at astronomical dark, which was like 9:20 or something. Got everything started, got everything set up, hit play, everything slewed, centered, everything worked great. It went to focus, and I got a flat line. And not just on one, both rigs.
Both rigs.
Which I'm like, wait a minute. Why are both of them not autofocusing properly? And it was perfectly clear night. It wasn't like, I had, average seeing, average, transparency, clear as a bell. And I keep getting these flat lines. And I'm like, with the Carbon Star, because it's a newer scope and I have the newer focuser on it, I'm thinking, I don't know if I've got my narrowband focus routine set up right for this. But the 127, I've got the Nightcrawler on it. I've filmed a million times with that. Why am I getting a flat line on this? So I'm like, well, maybe I'm just too far out of focus. So I stopped everything. I was like, all right, let me get it close to focus and then run autofocus, see what happens. Flat line. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Matt's asking, did you take the lens cap off?
I took the lens cap off. It wasn't a lens cap. I have my Arco and Giotto on that one, and then I have my Wanderer on the other one. But first thing it does when I hit play is cool camera, unpark scope, open flat panel. Yeah. And they were both open. So I could see stars. In my autofocus runs, I could see the stars, but for some reason, so I just started messing with the adjustments and everything and got them to focus. So I was like, okay, that's weird. I don't know what the hell that was all about. So I got everything. Nina? What's that?
Nina?
Nina, yeah. So I got everything working. Everything started. Everything worked, and I got it autofocus, and then I ran it, and then started taking the 10-minute long exposures were good. My guiding was a little, it was okay. It wasn't bad. Sub-arc second, but I noticed in PhD2 with the EQ6 and the 127, it kept telling me it's losing the star, but I'm looking at PhD2 going, that star is perfectly good. How
Right.
is it losing a star? There's no clouds. It keeps telling me lost star, lost star. But the guiding wasn't going crazy, you know. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I just let it go. And then I woke up the next morning and I went blinking through my data and I got about half of what I wanted, and the rest of it is junk. And it's just like, what the hell happened? And the only thing I can think is, I had everything out there, and the day before we were getting 40 mile an hour plus winds.
Right.
And I'm wondering if it walked my rigs a little bit too far, and my polar alignment was so out of whack that it just couldn't compensate. That's the only thing I can think.
Are you on so these rigs are on tripods?
Yeah, oh yeah, on my back deck.
Are they, did you check the level?
Yeah, the levels should be fine. I mean,
Yeah.
the levels shouldn't have changed, but I'm wondering if it just walked. And it's hard to believe that EQ6 and the 127 moved, but it may have. I mean, it may have. It may have vibrated enough to move it. Um, both scopes were moved. I
Mhm.
mean, obviously the WD-20 doesn't have a lock in the deck. So even when it's turned off, the deck can be pushed
Right.
where the RA will lock, but
Right.
the deck can be pushed. And both go even the EQ6R with the clutch locked and everything, it was pushed by the winds because I have the covers over them, but both of them were pushed by the winds. So I'm wondering if it just pushed them far enough to where once they got far enough sideways, the wind now was starting to turn the tripods maybe a little bit on my deck. So
What
I
are you
just have
using
to.
for polar alignment?
I use either Sharp Cap. I like to use Sharp Cap because it's the most accurate. But the last couple times I polar aligned, I used Nina, the 3-point polar alignment. And the thing with Nina though is you have to do it multiple times, so it takes longer. So like you have to do it, then park your scope, and then redo it just to verify. And sometimes I find like 3 times in Nina works good. So it shouldn't be called the 3-point polar alignment. It should be the 3 times polar alignment. But Sharp Cap, usually when I use Sharp Cap, man, you do it once and it's perfect. So
And you just you've got a guide scope, right? You're not
the
always
127s uses no AG, and then
so
the Carbon
do you have a
Star
guide?
I use a guide scope.
The other, so what do you polar align with the other one? Just the OAG?
With the main camera.
You polar align with the main camera.
Yeah, I polar align both of them with the main camera.
Yeah.
So, and then the one I use the guide scope on, I've trained it on a big star
Mhm.
and have adjusted the guide camera to be dead center with that main star, with the main camera. So, they're pretty damn close to being like pointing at the exact identical spot in the sky. So plus, the Carbon Star is 600 millimeter focal length, and the the guide scope I have on it is like 190, I want to say, almost 200. So shouldn't be any issue with that.
No. Well, hopefully this, you'll figure it out. I know you will. You'll be
Yeah, I
all
mean,
good.
it's just I chalked it up to it's been so long and I haven't had a chance because of crappy weather, and then
Right.
of course, I get a clear night. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get all this great data and HA on these two galaxies and strike out.
Yeah.
So, But I did put the HA data together on 106, and it actually did come out really, really good. Those 10-minute long exposures um, look really good because M106 is similar to M82, where it's a starburst galaxy. There's a lot of like stuff flowing out of the center of that galaxy that with enough HA exposures you can pick up, and it picked a lot of it up. It's actually pretty cool. So
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I haven't, this week, like I said, with everything, no imaging or anything like that, which is,
yeah, you
which
can't
is
even lift
fine.
that mountain right now.
No, 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 no. And but
Have you been studying up on the Sky X and
a little bit,
okay?
but yeah, it's let me see. But
You ever get
there it
that link I
is.
sent you, Eric? Did you get
Oh,
that
look
link?
at that beauty!
There it
So
is.
you've got it set on the tri-period.
Yeah.
You need to just plug it in, get it all set up, so and just play with it inside. Make sure
Yeah.
you can make it move and do all the things you want it to do, and
Yeah.
tell it that you are polar aligned, and make it slew to a target, even though it's not going to
Not gonna
get
do it.
there.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, right now it's just a matter of, like you're saying, just messing around with it, um, figuring things out because it took a while to understand, like the axis locks like here and over here on the other side and stuff like that. And just it's taking, in this freaking manual, I will tell
you
you.
said it's real thick. Yeah.
It's freaking, it can be freaking intimidating, just when you open it up or when you have it like this, it can be intimidating. But so far it's just been me perusing it right now and getting on YouTube, stuff like that. The one thing is that I can't I can't register the mount right now for SkyX, through the online registration. So I have to send it. So I have to email over to Software Bisque so they can
Okay.
register everything so I can finish, there's some downloads that I want to download, like the USB drivers for the MKS 5000 board and all that. So the USB can be recognized by the computer and everything. So I got to get all that stuff done. Um, and hopefully, I can knock that stuff out real quick. But yeah, I mean, Robin came in and I showed it to her and all that stuff. She was like, "Oh my God, it's a beast." She was like, "That's huge."
Oh yeah.
And she's like, "But it should be purple. I want it purple." I'm like, "No, it's good looking the way it is. What are you talking about? It's good looking the way it is." He's like, "Yeah, it's nice, but I want it purple."
Well, you got a purple camera,
Yeah,
so you
so
have to
yeah.
accept that.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. And it's just interesting because there's just a joystick. There's no go-to or anything. There's no go-to or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
It's meant to
it's
be used through Software Bisque software.
yeah. Yeah, so I don't know if I can't even I'm not even gonna try to mess around with it right now. I gotta figure this whole thing out and just try to understand it. Um but yeah, it's here. It's on the tripe here. There was no problems with that. Like I said, I just went on to Ioptron's site and got the mounting bracket and then went right on nice and easy. So so it's solid. And yeah, we're just I've gotten my Astro buggy. So I'm gonna have me and my son and we'll take it back apart and then slowly put everything on the buggy and have him pull it out for me and all that stuff and give me a hand with it.
There you go. Cool.
So yeah. It should be fun. It should be fun. It's just gonna be a while to figure it all out. That's all. Yeah. So that's what it's all about. Just figuring things out. So yeah. But we got a question here.
585 MC Pro with filter drawer. I'm gonna put it on my Teleview. Right now I'm using the flattener reducer at 480. Should I try 585 at the native 600? Yeah, why not? It's such a small sensor, Tom. You won't have to worry about field flattening probably, because that sensor is not going to pick up the outer edges. It's going to be pretty much dead center of that field of view. So I would try it. Why not? That little tiny sensor, without the flattener on that scope, that the outer edges is where you have to worry about it. But that sensor's so small, you're going to be dead in the middle of it. So I don't think you're going to have any star aberrations or anything like that with that sensor. I wouldn't think, but it's worth a try.
Yeah. Yeah, Norm, I'll give you a call. We'll have to get up. And I'll hit you. You're on Discord, right, Norm?
Yeah,
I
he's
think
on
you are.
Discord. Yeah, he is.
So
Yep.
I'll DM you and we'll meet up. Because there's a lot of stuff I've got to get set up within the sky and all that stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit. So I'm not in a rush, believe me. I'm no rush.
Yeah, Tom, PXT will fix any of that stuff. But like I said, with that little tiny sensor on that scope, you probably won't even notice any elongation.
Yeah. So, image of the week. If you guys have
one of each, right?
Yeah. If you have been on the website, you would have noticed that I had already put up the winners for this week because we only had one of each.
That image of Saturn is a beast.
Yeah, it's great. That is a great image of Saturn. So yeah, we only had that. We only had two images, one of each, which is totally cool. But don't forget that the website will be opened up tomorrow, which it better be opened up tomorrow. I've been messing around with this thing. And probably messing around this thing. I may have broke it again. Who knows? But we'll find out. But anyway, don't forget register. And so we can get your images for the last image of the week. I think this will be the last image of the week next week. Yeah, it is. Next week's image of the week is the last image of the week for April.
Is it?
So yeah, for the 25th. So if you want a shot at some Astroworld telescopes moolah, for this month, get your images in so you can have a shot at it. So yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I'm gonna fire up Discord here before I forget. That's what she said. But hey, Jackie, welcome back. Good to see you.
She made it.
She made it. It's all good. So yeah, I had a chance, to see our video that was posted. So great work with the editing. To you, kudos to you and
it came out really good.
Your wife, Scott. So kudos. It's a great video. And like I said, I want to next year I'll get more because I did still want to get some more from QHY and from Celestron. Just didn't have the opportunity, but it's all good. They had some great stuff out there. I was even watching Kevin today on the Skywatcher webcast. because he did even Sky, because Skywatcher, they did their recap of Neef. And they even highlighted, astrophysics, Disc, other companies and everything, just Neef in general. And they said this was that was their biggest display they believe they had for Neef, ever. I think they had, I think Kevin said they had 7 tables, which it was a big display. It was a very big display for
Oh,
Skywatcher.
yeah.
They,
Skywatcher had a huge display.
yeah, yeah. So actually, Dave was helping out. He was mastering the video, as well as Dustin. Dustin was hanging out
Yeah.
with us. So
Yeah.
he was helping out as well. So it was just a lot of fun. It was just a lot of fun. And yeah, so we had a good Neef as far as for Astroworld telescopes. So Dan was very, very happy on how things turned out, for the store. So we appreciate everybody's, support of, his venture, his business and stuff like that. So so I'm happy for him. So, what else has been going on? I mean, we're in the middle of Galaxy season right now. As soon as I get this mount going and we get this thing running, I'm gonna give, like I said, I'm gonna give Norm a shout. He's gonna help me get this thing up and going once I get everything registered and get the SkyX moving. Um, because I want to go after a couple. I definitely want to go after the sombrero. That's one that I've talked about that I've wanted to go after because the sombrero is what, M104, I believe, right?
Yeah, with the 8.
Yeah, with the 8. I want to go after it with the 8. I'm thinking of taking off the reducer so I can go, full F10. But this time I'm going to give it a shot with this guy with the 432. Put the Apollo on, with um the big 9 micron pixel sensor size. Give this one a shot and see how it goes. I'm very interested to see how this all works. I know it's going to be fine on solar, but I was even looking at several different retailers, and because of the tariffs and everything, everybody is on hold and not doing a darn thing. 'Cause I really wanted to get that Helios star. I wanted to get it sooner rather than later. So, but I'll get it. I'm not worried about it. It's just, man, I want to get that Helios star.
That's cool scope. I
It
mean,
is. It
it really is
is.
cool. And to get it as a package too with the Sunseeker mount and
Yep.
everything.
Yep.
Oh man, that's just
Yeah. It's gonna rock. It is really gonna
yeah, I think
it's
it's
gonna be
gonna be
sweet.
really, really good.
Yep. Yep. Georgia skies will be very steady at the end of the month. Perfect. Love it. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, end of the month, that's next week.
Yeah, that's next week. So that's what I'm saying. But right now, I was looking at Astropheric, and right now, tomorrow's going to be tonight's the only clear night for me, for at least for a little bit. Um, at least for my area, which is okay. It is what it is.
Yeah, we had clear skies when I got home, but it's going to cloud over.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, starting around 10 o'clock. So it's like even if forget it. It's like
yeah. So
and then
this whole week is shot.
I won't see clear skies probably for God knows when.
Yeah,
It's just so man, this season's been the worst.
yeah.
At least for my area, because my area we usually this time of year it's usually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hoping it's a trade off. You know, I'm hoping, okay, I missed some Galaxy season, but then come June, July, I'm going to get great skies for a week at a time. So we'll see. I doubt it, but we'll see.
Yeah, I want to try this 5, because Tom, you're saying you want to look forward to your 5. I want to try my Altair 585 with my refractor, with the 91, with the FLT 91, because that with the reducer, it's at 420, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, at 420, but it's native. It's at 540. So it's a great setup, with this camera. I mean, this camera and this scope, they're a great pair together. And so I really am curious on how that goes. And I've also been playing around with the idea of what would it be like to utilize a full frame camera with
the 91.
Yeah, on the 91. Yeah, on the 91. Or
As
just in general.
As long as you got a good flattener and you get your back spacing right, I bet it's amazing, especially for big nebula and stuff. Man, I bet it's awesome.
Yeah. So I was looking at trying to find some of the used 6200s, something like that, the used 6200 MMs, or no Zeus's. You can't find any Zeus's, but something like that. Like just out of curiosity, what would it be like? I'd be interested to see what it's like.
Yeah. And Tom will vouch for me. This is, when you go full frame, just like the 294 mm in bin 1, you better have storage.
Oh yeah,
the file sizes are monstrous.
Yeah, because they're like what 100 and what
100 megabyte, 100 meg.
Yeah.
Each frame.
Yeah.
You take is 100 meg.
Yep. So no, that's a good point. That's something definitely to keep an eye out on. So once you go 6200 mm, you never go back. Yeah, I'm betting. So,
but you can always get, Altair makes the same version.
Oh, they do. They do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they have one.
They have one. So definitely something to think about.
What's the price on them used? What have you been seeing? I
haven't seen any used.
The ones that I've seen like used on cloudy nights, they've been asking about $3,000, between 27 to $3,000.
That's decent.
So it's been somewhere around
they're $4,000 new, right?
Yeah, brand new.
Like 38, I thought, or something like that.
Yeah, brand new. They're about that. Yeah, come on, guys. Only 9 likes. Come on. We got 23 people here watching. I know it's a slow show. I know Dan's not here. Our fearless leader ain't here. But we don't need him. Give us the likes. Yeah. Give us the thumbs up. I know y'all like watching what we do, so give us the thumbs up. Yeah.
I've been dealing with some setup issues.
Yeah, what's been going on?
Well, I mean, I have to check my polar alignment every night, on that scope, and every night it's out, not by a lot, but it's out, and I'm kind of wondering if it's because I'm sitting on a brick patio. My gut tells me that it's not moving that much, but so I'm.
You don't think it's because you're on the wheelie bars and stuff like that as well, or?
No, those 5/8 inch pins are sticking down out of the wheelie bar about that much.
Okay.
And I've got great big nuts on the bottom of them. and they're tightened up tight against the washers. So I've got a double stack there. So it's a nice big foot. And those are sitting on anti-vibration pads, which is sitting on a 3/4 inch piece of, you know, plywood, 9-ply plywood, which is then sitting on each one of those 8x8s plywood is sitting on the brick.
Okay.
So, and
Gotcha.
it seems really solid. But it doesn't, I mean, you just breathe on and it'll, you know, it'll throw your freaking polar alignment out. So,
Yeah.
but other than that, you know, I've been getting pretty decent focus routines, predictable. You know, my R squared is regularly coming back above 9.98, you know, 0.99. You know, regular. HFR is 5, you know, somewhere in that neighborhood, 3 to 4 times, you know, that, you know, from the bottom to the top. So you know, focus routines are good. You know, image is good. So, you know, tracking is sidereal. I mean, it's okay. You know, where I've been struggling is with PhD. And I was listening to what you were saying, Dave, about struggling with PhD, you know, PhD too. And I there are some nights I can get it, you know, 0.3, 0.4. And then other nights I can't get it to, I can't get it to come down out of, you know, 1.5.
Huh.
You know, and I can't figure out what the hell is going on. And it's not like I don't think it's a seeing issue. It's certainly not clouds. You know, in fact, it's really clear right now.
Mitchell's
Yeah,
asking, is expansion from dropping temps maybe moving your mount?
yeah. You know what? Down here in Florida right now, I mean, the temperature, right now is in the high 70s, I believe. Yeah, I think it's in the high 70s. Let me just look. 79 degrees. So,
Yeah,
you know, and it,
Tom's saying, I bet the plywood is expanding and contracting with your Florida skies. It doesn't take too much.
this is medium density overlay. So it is, you know, I don't know if you guys understand what even that is, but it's a very, very dense cabinet grade plywood, you know, and wood, you know, moves. It typically only moves in one direction. It moves across the grain, you know. So with this plywood, the grain is offset on each ply. So I doubt seriously if that plywood is moving. You know, I just that would surprise me if the plywood
Yeah.
was moving. Now, if I was sitting on 2x4, yeah, I could see that, you know. But the plywood is very dimensionally stable. Now, if it continues, maybe I'll try something different. Maybe I'll have to put it on some steel plate or something. I don't know.
Right.
But PhD too has just been, it's just been a nightmare. Trying to get consistency with it,
Right.
and I have tried everything that I can think of, and I'm still learning. You know, from other channels and things. You know, watching Patriot Astro, he definitely helps. But I mean, I've tried everything, and it just will not stay consistent.
Gotcha.
However, this, I don't know how well you can see that. Oh,
Go back it up. There you go.
that's probably too bright.
Which glob is that?
That's Hercules.
Okay, I was gonna,
Hold on, let me darken it down so that you can see it better.
Okay.
back it up a little. Yeah.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a Hercules.
Yep.
And let's see. I did that. That's just 60 seconds. One exposure, 60 seconds.
Okay.
And I did this one. Let's see. This is the cigar.
Yeah, back it up a little. There you go. Okay.
You know, it's getting, you know.
Yeah, round stars.
Oh yeah.
You know, so
I mean, I double checked the collimation on the scope. It's good, and you know, and I did a whole video on collimation, by the way. But
Yeah.
you know, it's just PhD. You know, trying to get that to work. And I mean, I am running an OAG. You know, so it's a good one. It's, you know, the Astrodon. You
Right.
know, Monster Moag. So you know, it's a 10 millimeter, you know, prism, and
Yep.
the prism is definitely deep enough into the image train, you know, without clipping the main camera image. I've checked my back focus. I've got sharp stars. You know, I've done a dark library. Um, I don't know what the difference between the dark library is and the bad pixel map. Have you guys ever used a bad pixel map?
What do you
Me,
mean?
oh, from PhD?
In
In PhD?
Yeah,
PhD?
in
Yeah, I
PhD.
always do. I make a dark library in PhD.
Yeah,
Yeah, so do
I
I.
don't, yeah, I haven't used a bad pixel map.
It's
I've
one or the
always,
other. If you use the pixel map, you don't use the dark library.
yeah, use one or the other. Right.
One or the other.
Right.
I was
Yeah.
just wondering if which one is, if there is, you know, a preference, or
I think I used the bad pixel map. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm using.
Yeah, I've just used dark libraries. I've tried it bad pix. I think I've done a bad pixel map once, maybe once or twice within PhD.
Well, but I think
Um,
that's the whole point of making the dark libraries so
yeah,
that you are using the bad pixel map
yeah,
that it creates.
but if you go into the settings, you
yeah.
know, and
It's
you know, and you look at like dark, you know, the darks, you know, in the settings, and you click on the drop down, it gives you dark map. I'm sorry, it gives you your darks, your dark library, and then
Oh,
right below that is your bad pixel map, and you can't select both. It's one or the other.
yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I used the bad pixel map.
Hey Corin,
Yeah,
how are you?
my minimum SN, I believe my SNR is set at 6, and I'm binning 2x2. It's a 174 mini, so you know there's nothing wrong with that camera.
No.
Um, you know, I'm binning two
No,
by
that
two, and
174 is great because
yeah,
it's, but then oh yeah, you have to bin two by two because yours is such a high
Yeah,
focal length.
side focal
yeah,
length.
it's a 2737
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
with the
Yeah.
reducer.
Yeah. Yeah, Mitchell. He has an OAG. He's using a Moag.
Yeah,
OAG.
it's a Moag. It's the
Yeah, but
Astro
you're
Moag.
native, you're at focal length, so you need to definitely use two
Yeah,
by two.
two by two.
I
Even
don't two by two my 174 because I'm not at that focal length.
yeah, 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 yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm not using uh the the noise, the oh God, my brain just went south on me. The noise reduction.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, I go to the 2x2 noise reduction, and it just shrinks that field down,
Mhm.
you know, and it's
And
just hard enough to get started. So I have to use, you know, no noise reduction, and so
and you're using the and this is with your rainbow, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah, this is with your rainbow Astro. Okay. Is that a
yeah.
one? Is that a
The
135
no,
or
it's a 300,
300? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It had to have been a good one. Thanks,
but
Corin.
yeah,
Appreciate it, man. Why do you bend two by two? Because him with that C14 and with that OAG, he's using that his off axis guider. His focal length is really, really long.
Yeah, so he needs the
So
larger pixels.
so he needs to bend to get larger pixels, even with the OAG.
Yeah.
because I mean, it's just over 2700 millimeter. I mean, that's
Yeah,
just ridiculous range.
yeah,
So
yeah. Because are you using are you using a reducer or is this native
yeah,
F10? or
No,
F11?
no, no. That's the point 0.7
Point seven.
Celestron.
Okay.
Yeah, at
Okay.
native without the reducer, it's 3910.
Yeah. Yeah, you're at F11. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, Acorn.
Yep. So yeah. Damn.
Just fiddling with it, fighting with it.
You know.
Some nights, I mean, I got one night that I mean it was the RMS was it was great. It was zero point 0.3, zero point 0.4, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Last night, I was happy if I could get it under an arc second. So
Huh. That's
Yeah, but that's one thing I'm kind of looking forward to with the Mighty Mount, and I'm probably gonna do like maybe a half hour worth of T points when I get it all set up, just so I can see how it does unguided and guided then as well. I'm really excited to learn about a lot of that stuff. So yeah. Uh let's see here.
Tom's got 3 OAGs for sale.
So
Yeah.
he has an on-axis. No, it's an off-axis guider. It's not an on-axis. On-axis, those are expensive, dude. I've only
Yeah.
seen one. Um,
Yep.
yeah, yeah, Norm. Like it's gonna be some crazy T point number.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a cheap OAG either. I mean,
No,
it's the
no, it's
Astrodome,
not.
you
Yeah.
know.
Well,
And
that's
I
good
I
to
am
know.
getting sharp stars. I mean, it is in focus. So,
Okay.
but I'm
Uh,
I'm I'm guessing that maybe what I'm running into is just problems with, high clouds every now and then that come through and just screw things up that I can't see, but the camera does. So, yeah.
let's see. No, sorry. Sorry, I gotta stand up here for a sec. It's freaking. Oh goodness.
By the way, Eric, did you get that link I sent you about the tens?
Yeah, yep, and I do have one. Yep, I sure
Okay.
do. And I
Those
and I
things
do
work,
use it.
man.
It does. It does. It's just that, I can't sit very long or else it starts aggravating and sitting stupid again. So do what you can. But yeah, no, I definitely have a TENS unit and then knowing it absolutely does work. So that's for sure. Yeah, but those on axis guys I heard work great. It's just that they're just so flippin' expensive.
Hmm.
Which is why more and more you hear more and more things about people using off-axis guiders versus an ONAG. Excuse me.
Hmm.
So yeah, but no, man, yeah, I've been using that tens, and that tens does help. It does. I just got to be careful with it because there was one time I accidentally cranked it up too high, and it's like what?
Hmm. Yeah, that'll wake you out of a dead sleep.
Oh yeah, it'll wake you up. It'll wake you up. That's for darn sure.
yeah. Well,
Hey, all right, Corin. Corin's moving back to Barbados. So you'll be able to get some will you be able to get some southern targets in Barbados? Maybe Centaurus A and maybe Eta Carina, perhaps. Corin?
Karina.
Will you be able to do that?
Mm,
Out of curiosity.
yeah.
So
Barbados is right there on the equator, so
yeah, you should. Yeah, that should be awesome. Be able to get the best of both worlds.
yeah.
So here's the thing, though. If you are at the equator, where do you polar align? Do you polar align north or do you polar align south? If you're at the equator, I mean, you're right there in the freaking middle. Which one do you align with? I'm just,
Well, I mean,
this is one of those things that make you go,
if
I
you can see
that's
Polaris, why would you not use it?
Yeah, and yeah, I know. I'm just asking. It's just one of those things.
but what if you're shooting at objects in the south?
Does it? That's a good question. I mean, if you're shooting at objects up north, yeah, do you use Polaris? And then if you are
Shooting at
shooting at
objects in the
in the
north and the south, you
south, do you
use.
use the Southern Cross?
Yeah, that's curious.
I'm just kind of curious.
Well, I mean, the Earth is spinning, on axis with Polaris, independent. I mean, Polaris in the south, the reason I can't see it is because the field of view is through the Earth. But
Right.
if you're polar aligned on it, it shouldn't matter if you turn your telescope around and point south.
Yeah.
That shouldn't matter.
I guess it wouldn't. Yeah.
I guess not. Norm is saying if your latitude's still positive, use north.
Yeah.
So there you go. If your latitude is still positive, then use north.
Mm,
Can you see Polaris at the equator?
you should be able to, as
Should be.
long as you don't have a tree line.
Yeah, wouldn't you be able to? So
I mean, Polaris is
see, there
sitting
it
at
is. Corin says it right now. He uses Polaris to polar align. So there's the
right.
answer. There you go.
I mean, Polaris at the equator is at what, 23 degrees?
Ernie's saying it's around 13, but Corin answer. I know maybe he can shed some light as well. But Ernie was saying around 13 degrees north. So it's just one of those things to make you go,
Oh no, the 23 is the actual tilt of the Earth.
Yeah. Polaris will be at 13 degrees. There you go.
13. So
Yep.
yeah, as long as you don't have a tree line,
Yeah. There
you're
you go.
shooting out, you're pointing north out over the ocean, you should be able to find it easily.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, for sure. And I can only imagine being in Barbados, how your skies are, Corin. I mean, I'm just curious, what are your border skies like in your area there in Barbados? Maybe I'm sure they're a lot better than the UK. I'm sure. So
Depends what
Yeah.
islands you're on, you
Yeah.
know, because there are a lot of the islands that are in the Caribbean that are, I mean, they're tourist traps. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you would think going to Turks and Caicos that you would be able to get into a Bortle 2, Bortle 1, but you have to go way north on the island to even find that.
Gotcha.
You have to get away from the main city, you know?
Yeah. 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 Barbados. Yeah, he said Barbados is at least when he says Barbados is at 13. Corn says either the Bortle 4, Bortle 5,
Hmm.
Bortle 4, 5-ish.
Yeah.
Okay. That's better than what I'm sure it's better than what you have there in the UK, man. So, absolutely.
I
Let's
would
all head
imagine,
on down. Let's all go down. Let's all do a
I would
flight.
imagine that there are places on the island where it's darker than others.
Oh
So
yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
you just have to get away from the city.
Yep.
But shooting north out over the ocean anyway, I mean, it's going to be dark.
Yeah. No, I would think that. I think that's just it's still amazing. Still amazing. So, well, best of luck to you there, my friend. Best of luck to you down there in Barbados. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy the skies. Enjoy the tropics. So,
Right. That's exactly right, Norm.
Yep.
Yep. Whatever your latitude is. Right.
Yep. That's it.
That's why you set your mount at that, because you want to get as close to Polaris as you can.
If you can. That's exactly it. Yeah.
And then it's just, you know, making it, laterally, right or left,
Yep.
azimuth.
It may go imaging on the East Coast. It's darker. Nice. There you go. Wherever it's darker, man, that's where you go. Wherever it gets darker, that's where you want to go.
Amen.
So
One of the things I like about Sharp Cap is that, you take a scope and a tripod and you set it up, you rough point it, and then you just run a 3 second exposure,
hmm
and it'll give you those concentric rings, and you just kind of move it right or left,
uh-huh.
up and down until you can see where that center is, and then you're roughly polar aligned. Then you just run your routine and you're good to go.
You get to go. All
The
right. Dry tortugas, who knows?
latitude in Florida is 24, I think.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. Hold on. Where's my compass? Hmm. Compass.
Oh, nice. That should be fun for you, Jackie, going to the Grand Canyon and going to Bryce Canyon. So you're going to Arizona and to Utah. Huh? Nice.
That's very nice.
That's very nice. Yeah. Get some dark skies over there in the canyons. I'm sure you'll be able to get some great images from there. You taking you're taking your whole setup, your rigs and everything, or you taking a little travel setup? That's one thing. That'll probably be the next thing I want to do is get a nice little travel setup. Nice. Get like a Wave 100 or something like that. Um, and take my refractor, and I think that would be a fun little trip. Or even get the an SQA 55, like that. Oh yeah, taking everything. That's what I'm talking about, girlfriend. Take it all. Have some fun. Pardon me, I'm going to drink this guy here.
Hmm.
Mm. Drinking that sky, it's nice. Drinking the stars.
28 degrees.
Mm. Okay.
Hmm.
Have a little drink of the cosmos. It's so refreshing.
No Cosmos for me.
Stainless
Stainless steel.
steel.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. You know what? I've been to Neef now 3 times, but I have still not been to a star party. So I've got to get to a star party. I'm definitely gonna look at going to the Peach, the Peach State Star Party for sure. But because heck, now that I'm down here in Georgia, but I'd love to get over to like Okie Tech or some other star party too. Because I'm not gonna,
Okie Tech.
yeah, go down to Okie Tech's, head on west.
The one down here in the Keys is pretty popular.
Oh
Oh
yeah, the Winter
yeah,
Star. Oh, the
summer
Winter Star
winter
Party.
star party.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you go way south on those Keys, you get into some really dark skies.
I can only imagine.
I
I
think
can't.
they're close to Bortle 1, if not You know, I know those areas down there, they're Bortle too. There's actually a Bortle, I think there's a Bortle one site that is not far from me, about an hour from me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yep.
You gonna look at maybe getting a traveling setup, maybe and head there and head to a Border One, you know?
That's why I built the rig the way that I did, is so that it
Okay.
could be that way.
Okay.
I know Dan thinks I'm full of crap, you know, but I can get, you know, from the back of the Jeep fully
Mhm.
loaded with that whole
Mhm.
rig, including the wheelie bar. I can get everything in the back of the Jeep with the seats folded down.
Nice.
Everything. The whole shooting match. And I timed myself one day. I parked out on a park,
Hmm.
and I pulled everything out. I got everything set up and was ready to pull her a line in 20 minutes.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is.
So people that say that, you know, the C14 is not a mobile rig, I
Mhm.
take issue. As a matter of fact, you know, I saw just the other day, I saw a YouTube video with a young lady, you
Mhm.
know, and I mean, she was half my size. I mean, I'm 6'6", 240, you know, and I mean, if she was 120 pounds soaking wet, and she was muscling a C14.
Nice.
Now, granted, she didn't lift it up on her shoulder like I do, but
Mhm.
she was able to lift it with the handles
Yeah.
and set it on a chair
Yep.
and line up her mount, you know, angling it down to get it close and then move that dovetail in and got it clamped and then
Uh-huh.
lifted, and then the mount lifted it right up off the chair. She was able to do it, and she did it by herself.
Yeah.
That's pretty
I'm like,
awesome.
that that fellas, that's marriage material right there. Just so you know, take note. That's marriage material.
All right. All
Okay.
right.
Uh, yeah, that's awesome.
Do, do, do.
Yeah, C14s are light.
Yeah, they're just babies.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay. The naked tube by itself is 47 pounds.
Yeah.
Is it really that
Yeah,
much?
the naked
Wow.
tube is 47 pounds. Yep.
Wow.
Fully loaded with everything that I've got on it, I'm at 80.
Wow. I didn't realize they were that heavy.
Yeah. Well, I mean everything that I've got on it. The image train, everything. You know,
Mhm.
the cameras, the image train, the OIG, the Eagle, the William Optics guides, the guides go everything. The two dovetail bars, you know, the whole shooting mat. It's
Mhm.
80 pounds. That's why I got rid of the CGXL, because the CGXL maxed at 75.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, Mike. That's right. Scope weighs 80 pounds. Yeah.
Yep.
But you know, you put a 15 pound, you know, or 20-pound stainless steel weight on that RST 300, and it'll hold
Mhm.
110 pounds.
Yeah.
So
The one thing that's crazy about the I don't like about the first thing I don't like about the Paramount, at least this mighty, is that um the VersaPlate locking knobs are on my left side.
can't
So,
you can't you take
and
the plate off and turn it around?
no, because if I do that, well, I don't know. I've never tried, but I know there is the whole, um, the USB panel and everything that's underneath it. So I honestly can't say. I mean, Norm, you can let me know if you can actually reverse it or not. But yeah, that's the only thing right now that can. Oh, you can. All right.
That's what I was
I
thinking.
stand corrected. All right.
Yeah.
That was my only bummer, is that it's like, oh man, I can't flip, I can't set this thing up.
Just for grins though, when you do pull it and switch it around,
Yeah.
don't forget to I'm just anal retentive when it comes to stuff like this, but
Mhm.
Put a dot of blue thread locker on each one of those bolts, and use the blue. Don't use the red.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
no,
use.
and
Oh
don't
Don't
no,
use
use the
no,
the
red.
God, yes.
or
No,
don't
God, no
use
such a
don't
thing.
use the 609 green either.
No. Use the blue.
Yeah.
Don't use the red.
You
You'll
don't use
never
a
get
red.
it
You
off,
never get. Yeah, never get that sucker off. No.
or you'll wind up breaking the bolts
Mm-hmm.
unless they're just monsters. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, blue thread locker, it's your best friend.
Gotcha. Okay. Good to know. Good
Uh,
to know.
Colin, yeah, it's the RST 300. Is it? Wait a minute, it's not Colin. I'm sorry, Corin. My bad. I got little tiny text and old eyes. It reminds me of my father. You know, he would always yell at me. He said, "Why do you need anything more than a 1080p television?" He says, "I don't see any difference between the 1080p and the 4K. What the heck? Why would I?" And my dad, it's not about the resolution of the screen. The high resolution screen is not the problem. It's your low resolution eyes.
Exactly. Can see a hockey puck much better on a 4K screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's another reason why Dan's probably not on right now. He's probably,
No, the hockey season's over.
yeah, for him. Is
Well,
it
it's
over for
over
you too?
yeah, it's over for everybody.
Well,
Playoffs start Monday.
yeah. Are you in the play? Are the
We
Caps
are
in
in
the
the
playoffs?
playoffs, yes.
See, that's what I'm saying. Your season's still going. Dan's isn't.
No, that's not my problem.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
No, it's the pixel peepers.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Well, that's like I said, that's good to know, Norm. So yeah, because I just turned it on. That's like I like that. That's pretty darn slick. It is whoop and lock it back again. I like that. See, there's so much that you got to learn about in these new gear. Um. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm probably going to call the show tonight in about 15 minutes. We don't have an image of the week this week because I've already posted it. Don't forget to definitely, if you want to get an opportunity to have a chance to get some Astroworld telescope bucks here through a gift card or something like that, to drop in your latest images or whatever your favorite images are. Doesn't matter how, if it's new, it's old, whatever. Recent, not so recent, doesn't matter. As long as it's yours, and you did it with your equipment, not some rental or anything like iTelescope or anything like that, but it's your gear. Drop it into our onto our website, astroworldweb.com/IOTW, starting tomorrow through Tuesday, and get a chance to win. So
Excellent.
yeah,
Yeah.
I love getting new stuff too. I love getting new stuff.
We're probably going to be updating the interface for Picture of the Week as well. So I know Dan has been um, in conversation with Xiaofan about doing an updated interface.
Nice.
So and she'll
Okay.
bring her design specialty to it and put her pen on it.
There you go.
Really nice. So yeah. I don't know. I honestly don't know what I would do with my YouTube stuff if I didn't. I mean, I can do content, but thumbnails,
Mhm.
all that other stuff, graphic,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. That's all. That's
Yeah.
all her.
Mhm. Can you
Yeah.
see it? Can you see it?
Yeah, it's just
No, it's you know what? Behind every great man, there's a great woman who knows how to really put together thumbnails.
yep.
And
All
fingernails
things,
Yeah,
and
graphic.
yeah,
toenails.
yeah. So just
Wait
saying.
until you see what she's going to do with the websites. Astroworld telescopes. The Astroworld, the other Astroworld site. She's going to integrate all that. Yeah, it's going to be. She's going to put a whole new style sheet to it.
Still trying to, still trying to get the 0.8 reducer back focus and tilt on the GT102, trying to get it to less than 5%. Hey, do you know that there's now a Wanderer Astro tilt adjuster?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe that'll help you get it
And
to
it only
that
takes up
under,
5 millimeters of
5 millimeters.
backspace.
yeah. Chris, maybe that'll help you get under that 5% threshold that you're trying to, break through, you know?
Yeah,
Think
Dan's
about
going to be
that.
sending me one of those to do a product review on it. So,
Oh, is he
Okay.
going to do that?
yep.
I'd be
Nice.
curious to see how well it works.
The one thing that I don't have is the CCD inspector. I have to get
Okay.
that. I have to get the login and password from. I think you guys have it, don't you? Don't you have a CCD inspector?
No, I don't think so.
I thought Dan got a couple of licenses for that. I know he's got one. I'll
He
just get him
might,
to.
he might, yeah, he may have. Yeah, he
Yeah.
may have.
He's got the what do you call it? The actual. Oh no, I'm thinking of what he tests his filters with. The
Yeah.
what does he use?
You had to use the old version of ASTAP, don't you, Chris? For the tilt test? Because the old version of ASTAP, it uses something like a CCD inspector or something like that to check for tilt.
Yeah, I think it
Doesn't
does.
it? Doesn't it?
Oh no, well, or you could use Nina has
Yeah,
aberration inspector
has aberration inspector.
with using Hocus Focus.
Hmm. There you go.
So that the aberration inspector will check for tilt.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You run the full gamut. You can use there's 2 different settings, but yeah, it'll check for tilt. Yeah, and it basically runs an autofocus function, and you can actually see it'll show 4 or 5 different lines in your curve,
Hmm.
and each line represents a different corner of the sensor,
Okay.
and it does the center and then it does the 4 corners. So I guess there's 5 different lines in your curve, and it'll show where those curves are, and then when you're done, you go down and it'll show kind of a graph of which part of your sensor is tilted forward or backwards. And yeah,
Okay.
it's hard to decipher and read, but
Yeah,
um,
that's what I was going to ask is how hard is it to, to figure out which of the corners are
it
what and
just
stuff like
takes,
that.
you got to play with it,
Yeah.
make a
Okay.
little adjustment, and then redo it. I mean, it takes time dealing with tilt. I've messed with it and got it. Just takes so much. If you have nothing to do all night, then you just check your tilt, have at it. But if you actually want to do some imaging,
Hmm.
forget about it.
Yeah.
Blur Exterminator will take care of all that.
Gotcha.
Well, that's where that tilt adjuster, can help.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
can, but like I said, you're constantly rerunning the aberration inspector and rechecking, then making an adjustment, and then rechecking it, then making an adjustment, rechecking it. You could spend hours just playing around to try and get it perfect.
Yeah. And see me, I'm at that point where, it doesn't matter to me it doesn't get to me that much anymore because there's so much out there now, like maybe BlurX and everything else that might be able to correct, aberrations, with stars and, eccentricity with stars and stuff like that. So I will just use BlurX and say the heck with it. It's because my pictures are primarily for me and to share with friends. It's not something where I'm looking to try to make an APOD or anything like that or anything.
Well, yeah,
So
exactly.
it's just I just set it up and just go for it.
Now, the adjusting for the tilt, you can do that from the back plate of the camera. You don't have to take that plate off, do you?
Which
Which plate are you
Um,
referring to?
on the ZWO camera, there's a the plate that basically threads onto your adapter, right?
yeah,
Threads onto your
Yeah,
screen. You
yeah,
can make the adjustments from that plate, right?
you can.
You have to take
There,
that plate off.
no, that is a tilt plate. Depending on the camera that you're using, those it does have certain tilt adjustment. Sometimes it's difficult though because there may be certain things that are blocked. If you're using, say, a filter wheel, it blocks the tilt plate.
yeah, it's
Sure.
right up against it. That's
And
why
stuff
some
like
of
that.
these newer cameras are coming out where that filter or that tilt plate has the screws facing back towards the back of the camera,
Yes.
which makes it so much
Yeah,
easier.
that's one thing I like
Or
about
you
the
can
Player
buy a
One.
tilt plate that has them on the side,
Hmm.
but that takes up back focus and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So you have
Yeah, because you can use the Gert Newman, tilt adjuster, which does take
yeah,
up some back focus, but you have adjustments that are along the
that is
sides.
correct. Yeah.
Or, you have the Player One, which has, depending on the Player One model of camera you have, they have a back tilt adjustment where you can tilt from behind, the plate because the plate's then now facing you and it's extended out a little bit
Right.
so you can adjust the screws that way. So yeah.
I have dual 2600s, mono and color. Somebody's asking in chat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tom.
Yep. So
I don't think that I have a tilt adjuster on my OAG. I'm fairly certain there's no tilt adjustment on that OAG.
I've never seen one on
I've
an
never seen
OAG.
anything. Now 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 on the ZWO OAGL, there is a tilt adjustment. There is a tilt plate on the ZWO OAG large OAG. You can adjust the tilt on that, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah.
What camera filter wheel can be bolted to the tilt plate? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yep. So basically, if you have a 2600, for example, then you bolt the filter wheel on that, and then you put on a ZWO OAGL, for
Hmm.
example. You bolt that to the filter wheel because that'll screw directly onto the filter wheel. Then you can use the tilt plate from that, and that will help you with tilt adjustments that way. But that's just for that particular setup. I don't know if you can do the same thing with say like Player One or anything like that. But as I said, even with Player One, a lot of them you have a back tilt plate, so it faces out towards you, so you can actually make the adjustments from behind.
Yeah. So the player ones have it, and some of the other newer, I think some of the new ZWOs have it as well.
somebody was saying that, trying to figure out which is up
Hmm.
on the, yeah. I would imagine that you could probably identify the from the software in Nina, it's telling you that you need to move it this way or move it that way. That from if you can determine just through trial and error on Nina which one is which, that you could probably just indicate on the camera itself, maybe with just like a dot
Heck,
of
even just
nail
get a
polish,
note. Yeah, even just get a
you know.
notepad. If you get a notepad and just write down, okay, the initial markings, and then you make a small adjustment, and then you just compare that to your markings on if you make a drawing or anything like that, you can say, oh, top left was here. Now that number's changed. So that must be top left or something like that, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. The player one that they did a smart thing setting it up, setting the tilt plate up in the back. So yeah. All right, so we're almost at 9:30. Like I said, I was gonna call it, at 9:30.
Hmm.
Because my back is getting to me. So apologize for that, everybody, but this is what it is. And like I said, we don't have an image of the week this week, so don't forget. Let's get more than just one image of the week per bracket this week. So let's finish image of the week strong for April, guys. Let's just do that. But yeah, don't forget, if you haven't yet, give this video a thumbs up. If you're here on YouTube, because we're here on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. Let us know. Share comments, anything like that on the replay, anything like that. But before we get out of here, Scott, any final thoughts?
Um, well, I would say, just keep taking advantage of those clear skies, and if anybody has any insight on PhD 2 that they want to share, you can always send me a note. astroplayground1@gmail. Um, it's right there on the YouTube channel, I believe. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey, congrats again on those your latest videos, and
thank you.
keep looking for more. Keep looking for
Yeah,
more.
there'll be more coming. In fact,
Very
I've got one that's loaded. Probably going to do either tonight or maybe tomorrow. But it's a highlight reel over the last, few years from when I first purchased the scope.
mhm.
I still remember your reaction, Eric, when I came on the channel, and you were like, he did what?
Yep.
He did what? What did he
Yep.
do?
What?
He did what? But yeah, so I got a highlight reel that's over the last 4 years. It's about 5 minutes long, and it's all sped up. So it's everything, all the equipment, everything that we did, the C14, all the changes, everything, all sped up. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
it was kind of fun to put together. So
Awesome.
look for that coming up pretty soon. And I've got an episode 2 on the C14 rig setup, and so
Okay.
that's coming too.
Super Dave, any final thoughts?
Other than hope your back feels better.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Hope
absolutely.
hope we get Dan back here before long. God, he's been missing in action since Neve.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got to
Uh,
go buy a house. Got to find a house in some nice Bordeaux 5 or 6 guys, man. He needs.
yeah, the struggle's real, I guess.
It is. It is. It is.
But yeah, no, keep an eye out on Discord. I'm trying to put together my M51, and other than that, everybody, hopefully, guys, Tom and Norm, be careful with those skies you guys have. Apparently, they're dealing with tornadoes and stuff, so
Yep.
Hmm.
be safe.
Yep. Absolutely. Be safe out there. Yeah. Norm, be on the lookout for my DM. So on Discord. So keep an eye out on that. And yeah, it's and absolutely just check. Don't forget to catch us up on Discord, on our Discord server. Astroworld Q&A. is our Discord server. So check that out. Not sure if I can post it here myself as far as as far as that. So let me see if it's gonna give me a shot here. And not sure if that's coming through or not. Probably not. But give that a go and try that out. And yeah, give that a shot. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but hope to see you guys on Discord. Norm, I will be in touch with you over Discord, and we'll share our contact information so we can get this Paramount moving. I'm looking forward to that. And have a great rest of your evening, everybody. And happy Easter for those who are celebrating Easter. Have a great, I know personally I am, and I'm looking forward to some ham and all the other fun stuff.
Oh
and
yeah.
all that good stuff. So yeah, you guys have a great weekend, clear skies, and as always, keep imaging, keep educating, clear skies, and we will
Guys.
see you guys on Wednesday. So take care, everybody.
See you guys.
Bye for now.